Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today we're going to be previewing the Houston Astros series against the Seattle Mariners. The Astros have won their latest series against the Minnesota Twins, winning 2-1. Yesterday, we're down 7-1 and had a comeback. There was 8 unanswered runs by the Astros and won the game 9-7. Yordan Alvarez hit a 2-run home run, his first of the season, and it was an amazing comeback for the Astros. They had a double steal that scored them a run. Jake Myers and Jose Altuve played part in a double steal, and so I think all Astros fans were really impressed with the win that the Astros had. The bullpen did some fantastic work. Well, not the first pitcher that came out of the bullpen in Luis Contreras, but him and Ronel Blanco were terrible, and then the Astros turned to the bullpen for most of the rest of the game, and it looked excellent. Rafael Montero, who I've hated on for a long time as an Astros fan, and if he struggles, I might, because this is a guy that the Astros gave a huge deal, came in for 2 innings and looked excellent. Then, the Astros went to Brian Abreu, Brian King, and Josh Hader, and they all looked great. So bullpen, most of the bullpen looked great today outside of Luis or yesterday, and it was a great win for the Astros. And I think that finishing a game like that and finishing a series like that has to bring you great confidence going into Seattle. Now, this is going to be another cold series for this Astros team. You were in Minnesota, it was pretty cold there. It's not going to be as cold as in Seattle as it was in Minnesota, but it's cold in Seattle, so that's going to be interesting to see. Now we're going to see some good pitchers in this series, some good pitching matchups. The Astros are going to have Hayden Wiesinski pitch today, and that he's going up against Logan Gilbert. I don't know about that pitching matchup. With the way the offense was yesterday, I'm not feeling too good about this game today with Logan Gilbert on the mound for Seattle, and then the Astros having Hayden Wiesinski. But then the next 2 days after that, I think I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing for this Astros team. You got Hunter Brown, who's been dominant on the mound, pitching against Luis Castillo, and Luis Castillo is a good pitcher. Just I like that pitching matchup more for the Astros than the Wiesinski versus Logan Gilbert. Then the final game in this series is Luis Castillo again, but instead of Luis Castillo, it's Luis F. Castillo, another pitcher they have. He hasn't been so good. Luis Castillo, the pitcher that's been around for a long time, as a 3 ERA this season. Meanwhile, Luis F. Castillo has a 9 ERA this year. So I hope that's a win the Astros get with, facing a guy that has struggled like Luis F. Castillo. But yeah. All right. Now, timings for all these games, all of them are going to be on Space City Home Network. That's not a huge surprise. It's the middle of the week playing Seattle. And Seattle just got swept by San Francisco. So these two teams have something in common. Both been swept by San Francisco. And so, all first 2 games are at 8:40, Monday and Tuesday. And then the last game of this series is at 3 o'clock on Wednesday. Then the Astros have day off Thursday and then back at home for the weekend against the Angels. So that's how that's how things look for this Astros team. All right. Want to go into lineups. Now, we don't know the lineup for today yet. I don't think we'll know around 3 or 4 o'clock, because maybe a little bit later than that. Probably around 4 we'll know what the lineup is, because the Astros played not until 8:40. This is the latest time we're going to see the Astros start off to a season's first West Coast trip the Astros have had, because in Minnesota it was all afternoon games, 3 o'clock on Thursday, 1 o'clock on both Saturday and Sunday. So this is the latest game the Astros have had so far. Before that, it was 7 o'clock playing in Houston against San Francisco, or New York, and that's it. Or no, in the New York series, the latest the Astros played, I want to say, was 6. But I might be wrong. But so this is the latest the Astros have played. Obviously, in Seattle, the time is a little bit different, so it's not like it's the same time there. But as Astros fans, it's the latest we're seeing this team play. And I wonder if we'll see Astros After Dark, as the Astros announcers call it, when the Astros play and it's after midnight in Houston. The game would have to be 3 hours and 20 minutes for that to happen. I don't know if that will happen. Maybe a couple years ago that would have happened, but since they've brought in the pitch clock and all these new things to cut baseball down and not make it as long, I don't know if we'll reach Astros After Dark. But going into the lineup, I have a lineup that I want to see from this Astros team tonight. We'll see how some of you react in the comment section to this. This is the lineup I want to see Joe Espada put out tonight. Starting off, let's give Jeremy Pena an off day. This reason I say this is I love JP, but you're facing a lockdown pitcher like Logan Gilbert, a guy who's got some nasty stuff, and you look at Jeremy Pena's numbers against Logan Gilbert, it's not good. In JP's career against Logan Gilbert, 1 for 23 with 5 strikeouts. So, and you can bring in a guy like Mauricio Dubon to play shortstop today, who's 3 for 10 against Gilbert in his career. That seems like a smarter idea. I hope, if JP were to be in the lineup today, I hope he gets out of the struggles he's had against Logan Gilbert in his career. But knowing JP has struggles against Gilbert and you want to get a win, you want to get this win badly to get back to 500, it's a key division opponent. Maybe it'd be smarter to keep JP out of the lineup with his known struggles against Logan Gilbert. Meanwhile, Dubon has a little bit more success against Logan Gilbert, 3 for 10 in his career. I'd also like to see both Chas McCormick and Jake Myers in the outfield with Jose Altuve today. Reason I say that, Chas McCormick in his career, 4 for 16 with a walk against Logan Gilbert. Jake Myers in his career, 4 for 14 with 2 doubles against Logan Gilbert with a walk. We saw the day Jake Myers has had the last couple days. He's been fantastic. Last 2 games, 2 extra base hits, 2 doubles, and then had a amazing play yesterday where he stole home to give the Astros a 2-run lead. So that's what I'd like to see. And if you were to give Jeremy Pena the day off, here's the thing I'd love to see is move Brendan Rodgers up in the lineup. We've seen him, kind of move from being the 8-hitter to the 7-hitter. I'd love to see him batting. If the Astros were to give Jeremy Pena the day off, I'd love to see the Astros put Brendan Rodgers at the number 5 spot in this lineup with no Pena, and then you have Brendan Rodgers potentially having more RBI opportunities. We've seen how dominant he has been, how dominant he was in the last series against Minnesota. He is something else for this offense. 3 for 4 the first game of the series, 1 for 3, but one of the hits he had was a double in the second game of the series, and then yesterday went 2 for 3 as well. So, and then even had his final 2 games against the Giants were even good. Right now, he's on a 5-game hitting streak. So, with him being one of the hottest guys in this offense, you want to give Brendan Rodgers more RBI opportunities, and I think Brendan Rodgers has more RBI opportunities if he's batting at the 5 spot after Jose Altuve, Isaac Paredes, Yordan Alvarez, and Christian Walker than batting at the 7 or 8 spot. So if JP were to give, if I think the smart thing for Joe Espada to do would be give JP the day off with how bad of struggles he's had against Gilbert, put Brendan Rodgers at the 5 spot with how hot he is right now, and give him more RBI opportunities in the lineup. I'd like to see for this Astros team today is top 5 in the lineup: Altuve, Isaac, Yordan, and then Christian Walker, Brendan Rodgers, Yainer Diaz at the 6, and then we would see after that Mauricio Dubon, Chas McCormick, Jake Myers. That's the lineup I'd like to see in this first game of this series, where you have some guys in the lineup that have had success against Gilbert. You have Brendan Rodgers, who's never faced Gilbert, but has been one of the hottest guys in this lineup recently for this Astros team in the last 5 games. That's what if I were the manager, which I'm not, and I'm never going to get that far in Major League Baseball. That's what I would. As an Astros fan, that's what I want to see out there in the lineup today. But we'll see. That's just talking about the lineup today. We'll see what the lineup looks like the rest of this series as well. It's going to be an interesting series. I really do think it's going to be an interesting series. I hope the Astros get a series win. Let's just say they were not to get a series win, though, because you are facing some tough pitching in the first 2 games of the series. Framber's a little, sick, we've heard. So who knows what we'll see from Fromber when he starts on Tuesday. If the Astros were to, let's just say only win one of these games in this series and you go 1-2 in this series, that would take the Astros record to 5-7. Reason I say, that if that were to happen and the Astros go to 5-7, if any Astros fans want to complain about being 5-7, if the Astros were to only take one of these games in this series, I'm just going to remind everybody, last year the Astros started off 4-11 to the season and still made it to the playoffs. So even if they were to have only one of these games in this series, 5-7 is a lot better than the Astros were last year. It took the Astros last year 18 games to get their fifth win of the season. They could get their fifth win of the season tonight and it only be 12 games. So, that's something to think about if you want to complain about the Astros struggles this year. Just always remind yourself what the struggles of this Astros team last year had before you want to talk about struggles that this year's Astros team has, because this team looks a lot better than what they did to start off last year. I'm not saying the Astros have looked good this year, because there have been times where they have not looked good, but a lot of times so far. But there have been more times where they've looked good so far this year than they did last year. Let me know your thoughts on the Astros series against the Mariners coming up in the comment section, and peace out. Go Astros.